Nara and Alice were sitting in the library at one of the tables, with various books all over the table. "Wow, you are a really fast learner." Nara praised the younger girl with an amazed look on her face. "It's only been a couple of days, but your Japans has already improved a lot." Alice blushed and turned away to hide her smile. "It's nothing. I'm kinda cheating though." "Cheating?" Nara raised a brow. Alice pulled out a small, folded-up piece of paper from her dress pocket, and unfolded it before showing it to Nara. 12:30, Nara will help Alice Bate learn Japanese. Alice Bate will understand things very quickly, and learn very fast. The paper read in English. After managing to read it, Nara's eyes widened with surprise and realization. "That's right, I forgot how powerful your quirk is. That's a really clever way to use it." Alice nodded. "I've learned so many things because of it. It's my favorite way to use my quirk." "Really?" Nara asked. "Aha. Well, I haven't used my quirk in a lot of different ways yet," Alice admitted, looking down at the paper. "It's kind of scary." Nara didn't respond at first. Mainly because she agreed. The thought of someone being able to manipulate your actions and even thoughts without you knowing, and without having to be anywhere near you, was scary. But she didn't want to judge her because of that. That would kind of defeat the purpose of the place like this, and it just felt wrong. "It's only scary if you use it for scary things." Nara encouraged her, giving her a pat on the head. "But you don't seem like the type to do that, so you're not scary in my book." Alice smiled, and blushed once more. "Thank you. So cute." Nara internally gushed, trying her hardest not to let it show and make her look like an idiot. "Sup loser?" shouted a familiar voice coming into the library. "Ugh." Nara smiled and good mood instantly vanished as Ken walked over towards them. "What do you want, Ken?" "Just taking a break from my job to see the new kid," Ken said, taking a sip of a juice box, and looking over at Alice, who looked at him curiously. Nara sighed. "Well, I guess there's no better time to introduce you to Alice. This is my idiot brother Ken. Feel free to ignore anything he says." Ken stuck his tongue at his sister, who did the same thing. "Hello," Alice greeted, giving a polite wave. "Hey," Ken responded before looking her over. "So you're the American. I thought you'd be fat." Slap. Nara reached over the table and slapped her brother on the top of his head, her face red with anger. "Ken! What the hell? Ow. What? I thought most Americans were fat. At least that's what everyone told me," Ken hissed, rubbing the top of his head. "Ken, that's super racist." Nara scolded him. "American isn't a race, is it?" Ken asked, not 100% sure of that statement. Wait, is American a race?" Nara herself asked, her rage subsiding for a moment, as she thought about that for a second. As they were thinking about that, they heard a snicker, and looked down at Alice, who was trying to hide her laughter. "American isn't a race, silly," Alice said, still trying not to laugh. "It's, actually I don't know what it is either." "Well then let's just say that I'm right, and be done with it." Ken smirked while crossing his arms. Nara opened her mouth to counter, but Ken started walking away before she could. "Anyway, welcome to the house, new kid. Try not to let my sister infect you with loser." And with that he was gone before Nara could get a word in. "Ugh, he is such a pain," Nara groaned. "I think he's funny," Alice added. She could tell there was no real malice between the two, and that their teasing was simply part of their sibling bond. It was somewhat similar to how her mother acted towards her aunt. "Ugh, don't let him hear that or his head will get so big he won't be able to walk through doors." Nara snickered, causing Alice to laugh with her. After they settled down, something came to mind. "He said he had a job," Alice noted, looking up at Nara curiously. "Oh right, that." Nara sighed. "I mean, yeah, technically he's helps design games." Alice looked at her with wide eyes, unsure if she had understood that correctly. "I'm sorry, could you say that in English?" "Okay. He helps make games," Nara said, in English this time. "Huh," Alice shouted out in confusion and amazement. "He makes games? How? What kind? Does he use his quirk? Does he do it alone? How does dash?" "Whoa. Slow down," Nara told her in English, not wanting to get overwhelmed with all these questions. "I guess I should have seen this coming. A kid working on a video game isn't exactly normal. Well, I guess the best way to explain this would be to start with our quirks." Alice's eyes sparkled with excitement, and she suddenly pulled out a notebook, and got ready to write. "Huh, what a coincidence," Nara thought, before getting on with her explanation. "Well, me and Ken technically have the same quirk, but they do different things. It's called Omni, and it allows both of us to transform into 10 different forms. But each of us have different forms. Cool lol. Alice cooed, looking up at her with amazement. Show me. Please show me. Nara wanted to refuse as it would be rather impractical to transform in the middle of a conversation, but she couldn't find it within herself to refuse when Alice was looking at her like she was the most amazing person in the world right now. Alright. Just give me a second. She then activated her Omnitrix, and started looking for the least inconvenient form she had right now. Alice looked at her Omnitrix curiously, taking a close look at each silhouette. After a few seconds of fiddling, Nara finally found the right form. Alright, now you might want to cover your eyes, there is gonna be a flash. Nara slammed down on the dial, and Alice covered her eyes as a pink flash consumed the girl. When the flash died down, and Alice lowered her hands from her eyes, she saw that Nara was gone and in her place was Ditto. Tada! Nara said, raising up her arms to show off her current form. I called this one Ditto, well Ken called it Ditto and the name just kinda stuck. Amazing! Alice rushed over and looked at Ditto, moving around to see them from every angle, while frantically writing things down. Each form has a different quirk, and this one can do this. Ditto suddenly split into two. Tada! Wow! Alice gasped, looking at the two Dittos. How does it work? It looked like your body just split in two. Are stretchy? If you cut off an arm, would it turn into a clone and grow back? Can I touch you? Alice, please slow down. One of the Naras said at the same time. Even with two of us we can only answer so much. Let's just get back onto the main topic here. The other Nara said. Ken has a form called Upgrade, which lets him merge with technology, control it, and well, upgrade it. He can even use it to program things, like games. That's amazing. I wanna see it. Please oh please let me see it. Alice begged. Hee hee. Alright if you're that excited. Ken should be getting back to work now, so we should be able to see him. Nara merged her two selves back into one. Come on, follow me. XXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXX stepped in, she looked around with wonder. The room was covered in various different machines and computers, and all of them were currently taken over by Ken in his upgrade form. Whoa! Alice looked at all the monitors, rapidly modeling and creating new models and features. Oh hey guys! Came Ken's voice from one of the monitors. What do you want? I'm kind of busy here. I just wanted to show Alice how you're making the game. Nara explained. So you came to see the master at work? Ken said, popping his head out of the computer screen. Alice gasped when she saw this, and immediately ran over to him. Can I touch you? Please? Sure? Ken agreed, a bit weirded out by the sudden strange question. Immediately, Alice touched Ken's head, and much to her delight it felt like a mix of goo and metal, and was as cold as both. I've never felt something like this before. What are you made of? I have no idea. Ken answered honestly. No one does really. I'm kinda half machine and half, not machine. Organic. Nara corrected. Yeah, that. Ken confirmed, before slinking back into the monitor. Anyway, I got some more work to do. Only have a few more minutes before I transform back. Alright. Nara turned Alice towards her. Ken only programs the game, but all the ideas and designs are actually made by other people. It's actually pretty impressive. They have a character designer, a monster designer, a writer, and more. Can I meet them? Alice asked. Well, the monster designer is out right now, and the writer and world designer is. Let's just say it'll take a bit before you can meet them face to face. But you can Shiroku. She's the character designer, and she also makes clothes. Nara explained. Like hats? Alice suddenly asked, her eyes gleaming with anticipation. Maybe? Nara wondered where the heck that question came from. I've never seen her make one before, but I'm sure she would if you asked her. Somehow Alice's eyes grew even wider, and she beamed so hard she almost appeared to be glowing. I'm guessing you want to meet her, so just come with me, Nara said, taking Alice's hand. XXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXX so fast that Nara was worried she'd break her neck. Meanwhile, Alice was in pure awe. The room was entirely covered in all sorts of clothes. Cool clothes, cute clothes, pretty clothes. All of them were laid out on the walls. There were of course lots clothes making materials littered around the room. Oh, and there were also spiders crawling all over the room, but Nara had warned her of that beforehand, so she wasn't freaked out. In fact, she was far more amazed than anything, as she watched hundreds of spiders help decorate the various clothes. It was mesmerizing. My, who do we have here? Shiruka was currently sewing a dress on the ceiling, and stopped what she was doing to lower herself to the ground. Shiruka reached the ground, and turned herself right side up, right in front of Alice, towering over the small girl completely. Is this the American girl I heard about? Alice nodded. You make very pretty clothes. Shiruka smiled. Nothing like hearing a cute girl compliment her efforts. Thank you. You have a very pretty body. Especially your hair. Did she really just say you have a very pretty body? Nara thought to herself. Both Alice and Shiruku inspected each other, as both girls were very curious about the body of the other. Would you mind if I took your measurements? I can already think of a ton of dresses that would look absolutely adorable on you. Shiruka asked her, already planning out everything she was going to do. Okay, but can I have a hat too? Like a really cool one? Alice asked hopefully. Okay, I can definitely make some cute outfits with hats. Shiruka said with a very pleased expression. Well, it looks like they're getting along. I should probably leave them be, I can finally get some studying done. Nara thought. Well, I'll leave you two to it. Have fun. Wait. Alice suddenly ran over, and wrapped her arms around Nara's waist, before saying in English. Thank you. Well, now I have diabetes, worth it. Nara thought, as she hugged her back. Snap. Nara and Alice looked over to the source of the sound, and saw Shiruku holding a camera. I'll send this to you later. Shiruka said with a smile. Nara was very happy to be surrounded by such good people. This is the life. Chol was currently sitting by the pool in her swimsuit, with 2 legs in the water, and a few drinks next to her. It had been a long day, and while she did enjoy paperwork, work was still work and it got exhausting. But at the same time, there was nothing better than relaxing after a long day of work. Mommy. Well, some things were better. Chol looked back, and saw her daughter running towards her, wearing something she hadn't seen before. It was a purple dress with spider web-like black lines all over it, as well as a hat with the 2 fake black spiders on it. One big, one small. Mommy, look. That spider girl made me these cute clothes and this hat. Alice said, as she ran up to her mother, before spinning around to show off her new attire. Wow, it looks very nice, sweetheart. Chol smiled. It was good to see her daughter this excited. Looks like you have a new hat to add to your collection. Alice nodded very enthusiastically. I had so much fun today. This place is wonderful. I told you you'd like it, my little Pendragon. Chol chuckled as she pulled her daughter closer and kissed her on the forehead. Please make sure to thank Mr. Midoriya for all this. Without him we'd be in a much worse situation. Alice nodded in agreement. Mr. Midoriya is really amazing. He made this whole place even though he's not an adult yet. Believe me, Lit Pendragon, he's more competent than most adults I work with. Chol chuckled. Honestly, when she heard she'd have to work for a teenager, she was more than a bit concerned. But Izuka had proven to be as intelligent as he was kind. Actually no, he was far more kind than intelligent, a bit too kind actually, which was proving to be his biggest flaw. But having a boss whose problem was being too nice, was nice problem to have. I'm glad you had fun, Pendragon. Chol said, lovingly addressing her daughter by her nickname. I'm sure today is just the first of many adventures.